welcome back to my channel and to another air fryer video. This must be one of my most requested videos along with slow cooker meal ideas, so I thought I'd do another one. If you haven't already seen the first one, it's linked in the description box. I do loads of foodie content on this channel. I do cook with me's, food hauls, recipes, all that kind of thing. So if that interests you and you're not already subscribed, then I'd love it if you'd go and do so. But without further ado, let's go and have a look at what I've been making in my air fryer. So the first thing I'm going to make is some Frank's Red Hot chicken wings. We had these as a Domino takeaway the other day and they're really good, but they work out really expensive. So I just bought a packet of chicken wings in Tesco. These are £1.65. So they came joined like they do as chicken wings, and all I've done is just split them in half, the same as you would get if you had like chicken wings at a restaurant or something. You could leave them whole. And then what I've done is just dredged them in some corn flour or cornstarch. Just helps them to go a little bit crispy. So I'm going to pop these in the air fryer now for half the cooking time, so probably around 8 minutes. Then I'm going to take them out and I'm going to cover them in this Frank's Red Hot wing sauce. I got this in Sainsbury's, but you can get it in Asda, Tesco and on Amazon. And then I'm going to put them back in for probably another 8 to 10 minutes until they're lovely and crispy. Right, so I'm just about to put our chicken wings in and I'm going to put them on 200 degrees for 10 minutes. Then I'm going to take them out, shake them. I'm going to pour some Frank's Red Hot sauce over and put them in on 200 degrees for another 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes our wings have started to go a little bit crispy where the corn flour is stuck. So what I'm going to do now is pour the Frank's Red Hot sauce. I'm going to use 1 bottle on these wings and there is 148ml per bottle. I'm going to pour it over, toss them in the Frank's sauce and put them on for at least another 10 minutes. So I put a whole bottle of Frank's Red Hot sauce over the top, and what I'm going to do now is pop them back in on 200 degrees for another 10 minutes. They've gone really nice and crispy. You can give them 10 to 12 minutes, it depends how crispy you want them. So we just served ours with some homemade wedges and popped them in baskets with greaseproof paper. This has to be one of the boys' most requested meals. They absolutely love it and it's so much cheaper than ordering in. Next up we're going to make some Nutella French toast roll-ups. So all you're going to need for this is some bread, an egg, some cinnamon and some Nutella. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut the crusts off of our bread. You can save the crusts, put them in a bag, put them in the freezer, and then you could use them for breadcrumbs when you need them. So I'm going to start off by making 3. Next up we're just going to crack 1 egg into a bowl and add about half a teaspoon of cinnamon, and then you just want to whisk it together. So we're going to get a rolling pin and just flatten the bread. And you're going to get your Nutella or suitable alternative and spread each roll up. Next, just going to roll them over. And then we're going to dip them in our egg mixture and pop them in the air fryer. Once they're popped in the air fryer, I'm just going to spray them with a little bit of oil. And I'm going to do mine on 190 degrees and we're going to give them 8 minutes. And then halfway through, we're just going to stop and turn them over. After 4 minutes, I'm just going to turn them over and pop them back in. So if you like all things chocolatey like I do, I definitely recommend you give these a try. They're actually quite a big thing over on Instagram at the moment. Lots of people are using lots of different fillings to make them, but they always seem to be done in a frying pan, so I just thought I'd put a little bit of a healthy spin on it by doing them in the air fryer. So next up isn't exactly a recipe, but I was really shocked to find out you could actually cook part-baked rolls in your air fryer. My air fryer's actually got a bread setting, but all that does is take it to 160 degrees for 8 minutes. So you can use that temperature and timings, and you just pop your rolls in and they come out really crispy and warm. They smell amazing, and you haven't had to waste energy by putting your entire oven on just to cook a few rolls for 15 minutes. So the next recipe is a really simple and quick pizza. and this is one that the kids can get involved with. We make pita pizzas all the time in the oven, but if you don't want to turn your oven on just for the sake of making one, this is a really good idea. So all I've got is one wholemeal pita. You could use white if you want. I've got 4 slices of pepperoni, some tomato puree, a little bit of basil. There's about 40 grams of a mozzarella and cheddar mix, a few cherry tomatoes and some mushrooms. Obviously it's a pizza, so put on whatever you like. So I'm just going to assemble it and then pop it straight in the air fryer. So I'm going to put mine on around 190 degrees for about 6 minutes and then give it a check, but that usually is enough to make the bottom all crispy and the rest of the cheese go all nice and melty and gooey. So after 6 minutes you're left with a really crispy based pizza and your toppings are nice and brown, the pepperoni's gone all crispy as well. It's just a really quick and simple way to make a pizza without having to turn the whole oven on. So I've also just done one with plain cheese, and then I've got a spicy cheddar mix to go on this one as well. So just vary your toppings and add whatever you like. So the next thing I wanted to try in my air fryer was kind of like a fajita mix, although I used piri piri seasoning. So I just chopped some onions and peppers, and I used chicken breast this time, and I coated it in this piri piri seasoning that I got in Tesco. I then lined the bottom of my air fryer with foil just so that the seasoning didn't all fall through, and then I just popped it on 190 degrees for 15 minutes. And the beauty of this is that you can just walk away and leave it. You don't have to come back and stir or keep checking it. And then when it was done, we just served ours in some Subway rolls, and I had mine in a wrap. Not the prettiest thing to sort of dish up and show you, but obviously you could serve this with lettuce and salad and cheese, or if you use a fajita mix you could have your fajitas. But I just love the idea that you can pop it in and walk away and leave it. And also the chicken was really tender, whereas sometimes fajitas do dry out when you do them in the pan. So I'm definitely going to continue to do mine in this way. So the next thing we're going to do in the air fryer is Hasselback potatoes, or hedgehog potatoes as my boys used to call them when they were smaller. So I've just got some baby potatoes. You could use full size. I'm just using these sort of medium sized new potatoes, and what I'm going to do, I've got my wooden spoon, and the idea of the spoon is so that when you make the slits you don't go all the way through the potato. So we're just going to cut into the potato until we hit the spoon, and then that's it. I'm going to do that 3 or 4 times depending on how big your potato is. That way you end up with 4 slits in your potato, but it hasn't gone all the way through. So I'm going to do that with the rest of these potatoes. I'm just doing 6 for now. Right, so before I put them in the air fryer, I've just got some of this rapeseed oil spray. You get this in Tesco. You could use Firelight or something similar. I'm just going to give each potato a spray. When you put them in the air fryer, make sure you put them sliced side up. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to each one. And pop them in. And I'm going to do mine on a chip setting, which is actually 195 degrees, and it takes 25 minutes. So 5 minutes before the end of cooking time, I just took my potatoes out and carefully slotted pepperoni into the slits that we'd made. I then put these back in the air fryer for another 5 minutes, and it just gave them a really nice crispy pepperoni topping, and all the oil from the pepperoni sank into the potatoes as well. And at the end of cooking, for the other half of my potatoes, I just popped some brie into the little slits and let it melt on its own. They don't need to go back in the air fryer because the brie melts really quickly with just the hot potato. You could also use cheddar or Stilton, maybe pop a few chilies in there as well, or just leave your potatoes plain and maybe brush a little bit of garlic butter over them. So if you're not a fan of bone-in chicken wings, then if you get some chicken thighs and chop them up into small pieces about the size of a chicken wing, the air fryer also works really well on these. I just marinated mine in some piri piri sauce with some garlic powder and some extra chilli, and I just popped them in for 25 minutes on 195 degrees, or if you've got a chicken setting, just use that. They came out perfectly again. I cannot stress how much the air fryer cooks chicken really well. We served ours with some salad and some croquet potatoes and halloumi for the boys, and then Steve and I just had salad, but we also had avocado on ours. And I'm definitely going to be making these kind of boneless chicken wings again, because you don't always want the bone and the skin, and they just go really nicely on salads. So that is it for this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please go and leave me a thumbs up to let me know, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'd love to have you stick around, and I'll be back really soon with another video. Take care, guys.